Hello grade 5 students and welcome to this new lesson. Today you are going to study Project Part 1 in Module 5. Dear students, let's start with the objectives. Today you are going to read a recipe to answer detailed questions. Learn how to use sequence words first, second, then, next, and finally. Use the imperative form to write a recipe. My friends, bring your box and open your student's book page 61 and your workbook page 51. Dear students, look at these pictures. What can you see here? Here we see a girl that is making a cake. And we see a list of things that she needs to make a cake. These things are called ingredients. Also we see the steps that she is following to make a cake. So what is this form of writing? It is a recipe. Dear students, what does a recipe mean? It is a set of instructions for cooking a particular type of food. My friends, do you read about cooking? Where can you find information about cooking? Or where can you read recipes? Great! We read recipes in magazines and newspapers. Dear students, open your student's book page 61. Here you are going to read this recipe to answer 5 questions. Let's read them. Number 1. How many eggs do we put in this chocolate cake? Number 2. How many cups of sugar do we use? Number 3. What is the first step? Number 4. How long do we bake the cake for? Number 5. Can we put something on top of the cake when it's ready? Let me help you to do the first one. Number 1. How many eggs do we put in this chocolate cake? We put 3 eggs. Don't forget to underline your answers on that text. Let's shadow read. Go on.
Module 5. Project. Read a recipe for chocolate cake.
Healthy chocolate cake. Ingredients: 3 eggs, 1 cup of yogurt, 2½ cups of flour, 2 cups of brown sugar, 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of cocoa powder. Steps: First, break the eggs into a large bowl and beat them with the mixer. Second, add the brown sugar. Next, add the butter and the yogurt. Mix very well. Then, add the flour and mix it again. Add the cocoa powder and mix all the ingredients together very well. Next, put some butter in the pan and then put the cake mix into the pan. Put the pan in the oven and bake for 25 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. Finally, when the cake is ready, you can add some jam or fruit on top. Enjoy!
Let's see the answers. Number 2. How many cups of sugar do we use? We use 2 cups of brown sugar. Number 3. What is the first step? We break the eggs in a bowl and then beat them with the mixer. Number 4. How long do we bake the cake for? We must bake it for 25 minutes. Number 5. Can we put something on top of the cake when it's ready? Yes, we can. We can put some jam or fruit. Well done. My friends, here we are going to learn how to write a recipe. So, how do we write a recipe? The first thing, you need to think of a simple recipe. For example, which kind of food can you cook? The second thing, make a list. Think about all things you need. Look at these ingredients. To make a chocolate cake, we need 3 eggs, 1 cup of yogurt, 2.5 cups of flour, 2 cups of brown sugar, 1 cup of butter. Finally, 1 cup of cocoa powder. The last thing to write a recipe is to add sequence words to show the order in which the steps must happen. Here you have to write the steps of a recipe in the correct sequence. Look at these sequence words. First, second, next, then, and finally. My friends, let me remind you of how to write a recipe. Number 1, the recipe title. That means which kind of food do you want to cook? Number 2, ingredients list. Here you have to write a list of all things you need. Number 3, recipe steps. Here you have to use sequence words like first, second, then, next, and finally to put the steps in the correct sequence. My friends, pay attention to the writing tip box. To write a recipe, you have to think about the steps. Use sequence words to describe the procedure. For example, first, second, next, then, and finally. Then you have to write each step in the order you have to do it. So here you have to use the word first for the first step, and the word second for the second step, and the word next for the third step, and the word then for the fourth step. Here you have to pay attention that we can use the word then for the third step, and the word next for the fourth step, and you have to use the word finally for the last step. Dear students, look at these sequence words. Here we have first, next, then, and finally. We are going to use these sequence words to answer this question. How to make a cup of tea? First, boil some water. Next, serve the water in a cup. Then put the tea bag in the water. Finally, add some sugar. Enjoy! My friends, don't forget that we use a comma after the sequence words. Dear students, open your workbook page 51, exercise number 1. Read and write the steps in the correct order. Use first, next, then, and finally. Here you are going to reorder these 4 steps of making fresh lemonade by using the sequence words. Let me help you to do the first one. Number 1. First, Put a bottle of water in the fridge for an hour. Now it's your turn. You can stop the video and do the task. Go on. Let's see the answers. Number 2. Next, in a glass, mix some lemon juice with 2 spoons of sugar. Number 3. Then, add the lemon juice to the bottle of water. Number 4. Finally, put the bottle in the fridge and leave it for 2 hours. Your fresh lemonade is ready. Enjoy! My friends, here we are going to study the imperative form. What does imperative mean? It means to give instructions to someone to do something. How can we form the imperative sentence? We have to start our sentence with the main verb. So imperative is a main verb. Let's have some examples. Number 1. Add the brown sugar. Here we start the sentence with the main verb add. Number 2. Put the cake mix into the pan. Here we start with the main verb put. Number 3. Boil some water. Here we start with the verb boil. It is a main verb. So when we use the imperative form, we have to start our sentence with a main verb. My friends, here you are going to go through the recipe to underline the imperative form. Let's have an example. Break the eggs. Now it's your turn. You can stop the video and do the task. Go on. Let's see the answers. Well done. Dear students, look at these pictures. How many pictures do we have here? Here we have 4 pictures. How many sentences do we have here? Here we have 4 sentences. So you are going to read the sentences and match them to the pictures. Let me help you to do the first one. Number 1. Add the brown sugar. Now it's your turn. You can stop the video and do the task. Go on. Let's see the answers. Number 2. Break the eggs. Number 3. Add the flour. Number 4. Add the cocoa powder. Well done. My friends, get ready for project part 2. So you have to think of a simple recipe. Write the ingredients. Write the steps using the sequence words. Write your sentences in imperative. My friends, let me remind you of what we have learned today. We read a recipe and answered detailed questions. We learned how to use sequence words. First, second, then, next, and finally. We learned how to use the imperative form to write a recipe. Dear students, as you see here, all the objectives were achieved. My friends, this is the end of our lesson today. I hope you have learned something new. And I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. See you next time. Have a nice day.